Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ IAS English. My name is Pravin Mishra, and today we are going to discuss about this one particular organization that is known as National Legal Services Authority, that is NALSA. So why are we discussing it? 1 decade plus to this case, that is NALSA versus Union of India case 2014. What was the case and what are the outcomes? Let's discuss. So here we have got a community that is known as the transgenders or the third genders. A community which is struggling since decades, no, since centuries, to provide itself with an identity into the mainstream society. A particular community that is often seen quite negatively. A community that is often discarded from the mainstream society. Well, to be honest, they are not discarded or not ignored, or any kind of ignorance is not shown on the grounds of any kind of religion, race, caste, but this time it's the biggest trouble, that's the gender. Well, obviously, it's all natural. You're a man, you're a female, you're a woman, as well as if you're a third gender or a transgender. You are all natural. You're all the gift of nature itself. So why such kind of a discrimination? And this was the question that was asked by NALSA in the year 2012, and they fought continuously for 2.5 years plus, and they finally got the judgment. They finally got the victory. The moment of triumph for them was the year 2014, when the Supreme Court of India finally recognized the transgenders as the third gender community, providing them with the utmost amount of identity as well as the utmost amount of place in the society that is needed for them. So a landmark for gender justice in India, that is the NALSA versus Union of India case 2014. So let's go with the chronology of the events. The legal battle begins in 2012. So in 2012, basically, as you can see, the National Legal Services Authority that comes into existence in the year 1995, right, through the NALSA Act of 1987. So there was an act that was passed in the year 1987, right? And through this, in the year 1995, we got the NALSA as a proper statutory organization, right? Well, the history goes bit back as well. It was the year 1976 when we have got the mini constitution that is known as the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, which added a very most important article, what we must say, Article 39 capital A, that talks about free legal aid, equal justice, and free legal aid to the poor. So Article 39 capital A, part of the DPSP, what is this? Equal justice and free legal aid, specifically to the poor. This was Article 39 capital A inserted through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. Okay, and through which in the year 1987 a particular legislation was passed, and finally in the year 1995 NALSA comes into existence, specifically working in order to implement the principles of justice throughout the society. The principles of justice that is mentioned in our preamble, that is, everyone should be given with justice, social, political, or economic. And this time it was the transgender community which was deprived of all the three aspects of justice, from social to political as well as to economic. So in 2012, NALSA filed a petition inside the Supreme Court of India on behalf of the transgender community. And what was their demand? Just to provide legal recognition to the third gender and protection of their constitutional rights. This is where the NALSA's demand comes in. And this battle was joined by two very great personalities, those what we can say, the warriors of the transgender community rights, right? So crusaders or the warriors, whatever you can say. So we from the team of StudyIQ, we provide grand salute to these two personalities. So the first one is Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi, who is a well-known transgender activist, as well as Pooja Mala, who is a transgender herself, okay, from the state of Tamil Nadu. So NALSA and these two great people here, they do argue in front of the court that the people, the transgender people, are they really taken into the consideration whenever it comes to the Indian society as a whole? Never. Unfortunately, no. Right? They are subject to humiliation. They are subject to any kind of, discardment. They are subject to all kind of embarrassment. Hence, as a result, they are deprived of any kind of livelihood, any kind of dignified livelihood, to be precise, to be specific, right? So, they argued that the lack of legal recognition amounted to the violation of their fundamental rights guaranteed under Article 14, that is equality before law. Article 15, right against discrimination. Article 16, equality of opportunity in public employment. Article 19, the six fundamental freedoms, from speech and expression to movement to reside and settle to profession and everything. And finally, yes, the biggest one, Article 21, that is right to life and personal liberty. In multiple cases, Supreme Court has been, reiterating continuously that dignity is the core principle, is the core element, or is the magna carta of the individual's life, mentioned under Article 21, not directly, but yes, explicitly we have derived it. Right to life and personal liberty. So right to life with dignity, right? And the transgender people, unfortunately, they have been deprived of the dignity to the most, right? So then finally, Supreme Court, just admitted all the features that were represented in front of it. And now finally, the verdict. So a two judges bench of Supreme Court with Justice K.S. Radhakrishnan and Justice A.K. Sikri delivered the landmark judgment that changed the legal landscape for the gender identity in India. Before 2014, if you were filling any kind of a form, maybe private sector or a public sector, you were having this option, gender, male, female, that's it. Or you were having this option, other. Now, if you fill any form, private sector form or any kind of a government form, right? Any kind of an application basically. So you have got the gender option, male, female, and the third gender as well, right? So this is where the triumph to NALSA, and this is where the triumph to the transgender community in our country is. So legal recognition was given as the third gender, right? So guys, remember, recognition of transgenders as the third gender is not just a social or medical issue, but a human rights issue. This is what the Honorable Supreme Court of India quoted while delivering the landmark judgment in the year 2014. And then court officially recognized the transgender as the third gender under the Indian law system. And finally, it acknowledged the self-identification of gender as male, female, or third gender. Okay, simply not based on any kind of the medical grounds, but yes, on the humanitarian grounds, right? So this was the triumph, and thanks to the NALSA, thanks to the people, like, we have got Pooja Mala as well as Lakshmi Narayan, right? So here we go to the next thing. The fundamental rights apply to transgenders. This is what the Supreme Court stated. The Constitution must be interpreted in the light of the changing needs of the society. Law is the most dynamic thing. It's never static, right? The society's perspective changes the laws always. Or you can always say that the needs of the society changes the law always. And here we have got a very big chunk of Indian society, okay, a population of Indian society, which was deprived of its own identification. And this was needed for them, right? So as we can see, the court held that Article 14, that is equality before law, applies to any person, not just male or a female. Article 15 and 16, they now includes prohibition on the discrimination on the basis of gender identity. Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A, that is right to expression, includes expression of one's gender identity as well. Remember, my gender is also my expression. Being a male, I am having an expression of gender. Being a female, I am having an expression of gender. And so, being a third gender, I'm also, being a transgender, I'm also expressing my identity, my expression. That yes, I do not belong to either the male or the female. Right? Let me quote here. Whenever it comes to, right, all the religious aspect, you talk about Lord Shiva's, one of the, the angles or one of the sections in our religion we have got, that is known as through the Lord Shiva, okay, through one of his forms, where we call him as Ardhanareshwara. So for us, Ardhanareshwar is a symbol of strength. Ardhanareshwar is the symbol of, power, courage. And we also do worship Ardhanareshwar. Shiv Shakti, the concept of Shiv Shakti, right? And the concept of Durga Shakti. Always we have been following as per our Indian tradition, culture, and norms. So, why we have been so much against the Ardhanareshwar sects only here, that are the transgenders? So, we need to provide them with the identity, right? We need to provide them with just identity? No, with identity along with the dignity, and so did Supreme Court, right? So Article 21. So Supreme Court recognizes the right to choose one's gender as an intrinsic part of Article 21. So it's part of my gender is part of my expression under Article 19 clause 1. So is part of my Article 21. That is, right to choose one's own gender is the integral part, intrinsic part of right to life and personal liberty. And now the directions that were given by the Supreme Court to the central as well as the state governments. So the court ordered the legal recognition of third gender in all the official documents, from Aadhaar card, PAN card, voter ID, passport, every single official document. Okay, the third gender thing shall be included. Then reservation in educational institutions and public employment under the socially and educationally backward classes. And these are the people, those who are most backward when it comes to the social and educational backwardness. Our third gender or the transgender community, they are the most backward, unfortunately. And we are really sorry for this. And it's time for us to walk hand in hand, okay, to walk at the par level, at the same level, okay, and provide our transgender community with the utmost level of growth and development as much as they can reach, right? So, separate public toilets, you might have, seen in the public spaces, okay, that we have now created some separate transgender public toilets, okay, and then a separate healthcare system along with the proper sanitization, okay, programs. So here we have got the framing of the social welfare schemes for the transgenders. For example, it was directed by the Supreme Court itself to implement the Yogya Karta principles, along with some international conventions known as the UN Convention on Civil and Political Rights. Okay, so Yogya Karta principles that comes into existence in the year 2006. Okay, so this was implemented, okay, which was already based on the UN convention known as the Convention on Civil and Political Rights, right? So Supreme Court ordered the central as well as the state governments to provide recognition in the official documents, to provide separate sanitization, proper sensitization programs, proper healthcare, and the separate living spaces as well, as per their own privacy, as per their own needs, along with, yes, along with just providing and establishing the norms of the UN Convention on Civil and Political Rights, along with the establishment and the usage and execution of Yogya Karta principles that comes into existence in the year 2006. So what is this Yogya Karta principles? You can see on application of international human rights in relation to sexual orientation as well as gender identity. So this is where the Yogya Karta principles comes into existence, right? So guys, once again, remember, whenever you see a transgender, just try to understand the plight of that person. Try to understand the grief of that person, how inevitable pain those people would be going through, right? How much gender and how much identity crisis those people are going through. And they are, once again, coming from the sect of our Lord Shiva, beloved Lord Shiva, that is Ardhanareshwara. So if you worship Ardhanareshwar, remember, those are the Ardhanareshwar once again, right? So I hope I'm clear in my statements, and here are the next features that we need to mark: the articles, the provisions, and how they are applied with regard to this case. So Article 14, obviously, equality before law. Okay, and now how it is applied. Transgenders, they have the equal rights before law. They're also humans. They're also Indian citizens. Then Article 15, Clause 1 and 2, that is no discrimination. specifically on the grounds of gender. So gender identity, it got included under the sexual orientation. Then we have got Article 16 as well as 19 Clause 1 Subclause A and 21. Article 16 that talks about equality of opportunity in public employment. Okay, so reservation they have been granted, okay, to the transgender community under the SEBC, that is socially and educationally backward classes. And finally, yes, 19 Clause 1 Subclause A, that is freedom of speech and expression. So remember, my gender identity is also part of my expression. And then finally, yes, Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. Once again, my gender identity is an intrinsic part of my life as well as my dignity, right? So guys, here we have got few MCQs related to this topic. This is MCQ number 1. So which of the following fundamental rights were directly involved or invoked in the NALSA versus Union of India judgment? So you have got 4-1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So select the correct answer using the code below. Remember, guys, you have to select the correct one. Okay. So option A, B, C, and D, whatever the correct answer is, do let us know into the comment section. We have got the another question here. Okay. Consider the following statements with regard to the NALSA judgment itself. So we've got 3 statements, 4 options. So let us know the correct answer into the comment box again. So question number 1, and here is the question number 2, right? And guys, remember, if you are a serious UPSC aspirant, this information is for you. The resolution batch with 1000 plus hours of live classes, access to recorded lectures, 18 sets of printed books, upgraded syllabus, updated content, okay, is there into those 18 books. The class notes of the teacher that he is using to teach you will be given to you in the PDF format immediately at the end of the session. Then next, do you have the prelims test series in this? Yes, 75 plus prelims tests in this one subscription. Mains test series? Yes, 15 plus tests for your mains. That is, your mains test series is there as well. Do we have the interview guidance program? Obviously it did. It does. So multiple mock interviews when it comes to your interview preparation. So one subscription to crack it all. So remember, it's a GS Foundation P2I. P2I as in prelims to mains to interview batch, commencing from 8th of August, right? So guys, remember, we have got the multiple languages here, the pure English batch is there, pure Hindi batch is there, the bilingual batch is there as well, that is known as the English batch, okay? So whatever your language is, whatever your language, you're comfortable in, you can enroll, and we have got multiple subscription plans, like we have got the gold, we have got the platinum, we have got the diamond. And the subscription plans are starting with just rupees 9,999 only, and you will get the maximum possible discount only once you have applied this promo code, that is PRV Live. Okay, so just apply this promo code, guys, PRV Live, okay, and avail the maximum possible discount. And remember, less than 48 hours you have to enroll yourself into this resolution batch, as the batches, they are commencing from what date? 8th of August. So it is already end of the 6th of August. So please remember, guys, less than 48 hours, enroll and remove the maximum obstacles that could be coming between you and your success journey. Right, everyone? So the best educators are available, very well on the StudyIQ platform. So enroll and get yourself, okay, with the preparation. Provide yourself with the preparation that is best for sure, because the teachers here are obviously the best. Okay, everyone. So thank you so much for joining. And in case you have any concern, you can connect with me on my Instagram account. That is Pravin Mishra _2107. Okay, or else you can scan this QR code for my Telegram channel as well. That is with the name Pravin _StudyIQ. So whatever the class notes it is, okay, that is, for example, today judgment, the NALSA judgment, okay, the PDF I will share on the Telegram channel. Okay, this is here. Just please scan the QR code, or you can just go on the search bar or type Pravin _StudyIQ. Okay, so this will be the Telegram channel. You can connect with me here and let me know whatever your doubts are. And apart from that, guys, before leaving, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button of the StudyIQ IAS English, a channel committed with just one agenda: to provide you quality and quantity of the content. So guys, remember, hit the subscribe button and never miss an update from the channel. Bye bye. Good day. Take care. See you soon. Jai Hind.